Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Gemini, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everyone, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have the Hanged Man, right? So last week you had this really powerful psychic energy that seemed to be pervading pretty much everything. And this week you've got the Hanged Man, and I kind of feel like this is the start, or rather this is the week where whatever was whatever was imprinted on you, you know, whether this was through the eclipse, whether this was through a psychic experience or a revelation of some sort, you're now starting to process that. Remember, the Hanged Man is basically saying this is a week where you are likely to be reassessing, reevaluating something in your life. And in order to do that, you have to sit still. All right, so this is a card of waiting, patience, stillness, and stasis. And in order to really reassess or reevaluate anything, you need to step into that contemplative kind of energy. So this week, give yourself a moment, take a beat, step back, and ask yourself, now that you understand that, you know, maybe now you know how your intuition speaks to you. I know so many people that have said to me over the years, like, you know, I didn't realize that it was like this, or I didn't realize that it would come this way, because everybody's intuition speaks to them in a different way. Even if you could have 100 clairvoyants in a room and they would all tell you that they see different things or in different ways. Yes, there are going to be similarities, but there's always a personal touch to it, right? So whatever it is that's been initiated for you in that psychic or imaginative kind of realm, let's say, this is the time, right? This is the time for you to assimilate that. And also through this stasis, through this moment of sitting still to observe everything, the patterns, the cycles of your life, you are going to come to even deeper moments of realization and possibly some sort of moment of personal enlightenment. For those of you that are continued subbies, you know Rafi loves you, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. So for your foundation card this week, you got the Ten of Pentacles. All right, so interesting because Taurus got this card in this position with a completely different deck, I might add. So very, very interesting. And there seems to have been this thing going on between Taurus and Gemini for a while now, where your readings are kind of mirroring each other, or there's certain things that are showing up in the Taurus reading that seem to show up for the Gemini reading. Sorry, took a moment. This really for you guys, actually, this is about you getting very clear on your environment, right? So the Ten of Pentacles very often represents a dwelling, and this really speaks to me of your actual home, like where you live, who you live there with, what you're surrounded by in the place that you live. And for some of you, you might be reassessing that. This might be a time where you say, okay, you know what, I feel like I've reached the end of the time that I want to spend here in this place. This is the thing, when we have so much soul growth, we very often end up looking around at the place we're in and saying, wow, I can't go any further with this place. That, you know, and this is not to say anything about the people that you live with or close to or whatever, or your neighbors, etc. It's just to say that your soul now realizes, in order for me to go to the next level from where I am right now, I have to move away from this place because I no longer vibrate at this frequency. Kelly Rosano once said she said this a lot in her videos, but she said it to me once personally, and it really rung true. She said, every time you move, you change and you heighten your vibration. And I was like, oh my gosh, now I understand why. I think in the last 10 years, I must have moved like 10 times. It's ridiculous. So really, really interesting that this comes up. For your communications and conversations, you have the Emperor right underneath the Hanged Man. Very different energies, almost opposing energies in some ways. Now, what I will say to you is The Emperor is your, especially when it comes to communications, communication is your realm, right? That is where you are the emperor. It's where you rule, where you reign supreme, right? Whether it's reading, speaking, listening, writing, all of those things, like you do with a finesse. Now, the fact that you've got the Emperor here and the Hanged Man above it, it almost suggests to me that there's something that you are now ready to start really embodying through the way that you speak. This might be that some of the changes that have happened internally, now people are going to start to see on the external level. And I will say that when it comes to communication this week, if you feel the need to pull rank, I don't usually back anybody that does that, not myself, not anybody. You know, I believe in speaking facts, which is one of the reasons that I love Geminis. What I will say though is this may be a week where you have to do that, right? And I will say this week I back you 100% because you've got this Emperor here. So you might feel, you know, maybe a part of you feels like, oh, you know, I feel like I'm really kind of pushing, or maybe I'm being pushy, or maybe I'm being, you know, a bit too forthright. It's not. Whatever it is that you have to get across, you're supposed to do that this week. And I kind of feel like that slow down energy that's here. Usually Geminis are two and three things per second per minute, right? This week it's going to be slow, steady, measured cadence. And I actually think that that is going to be the key to this week. Be very deliberate in your speech this week, my dear Geminis, because that's what's going to get you that's what's going to give weight to what it is that you're saying, right? Now, for those of you that are employed, I will say to you this week, you may have to go toe to toe with the boss. Take it easy, right? You don't need to shout them down. You just need to present your very sound logic, all right? And if that's the way that you need to pull rank, then let it be so. For those of you that are employed, self-employed, business owner, entrepreneur, solopreneur, etc., this week might be a week where you can see the vision, you know exactly what you want, exactly where something should go, and everybody around you just seems to be like, give them time to catch up, all right? There's whatever it is that you're doing, whatever this new idea is, it's quite pioneering, and so not everybody's going to be there yet. They'll come around, all right? For those of you that are retired or no longer working for any reason, this week yours may be the voice of reason in the maddening crowd, and so it's important that when you do speak, it's of substance, all right? Really, really important. This is also a time where some new idea or ideology or even methodology may find you, all right? So really, again, very, very interesting. For your love and relations, you've got the Knight of Pentacles. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, you've got this underneath the Ten of Pentacles. Your long-term goals and aspirations this week are going to be highlighted to you. And it kind of feels like some of those may either be at odds with or diametrically opposed to some of the ideas and the ideals that your partner has. And it's not to say that this is going to be the end of your relationship. It just means that there are some things to consider for the long term. Let's say one of you, you know, has always wanted kids and the other one said, you know, let's see how we get on together for a while and then I'll decide. This might be the time where, you know, the other partner comes back and says, actually, I don't want to have children. Or, you know what, I don't need to, I don't know, I don't want to move from where we are. Like there's something here where the things that you want no longer mesh, and you're having to work out a plan in order for you to both get what you want and to both kind of maybe compromise somewhere. You know, the Knight of Pentacles is about the long haul, right? Nothing happens quick. And this does suggest to me that you're having to really rethink some of the long-term plans this week. Reassessment, reevaluation. When it comes to those of you that are single, I mean, this is really nice. I've got to be honest with you. If you are connecting with someone this week, they're very likely to be somebody that's either well-traveled, somebody that is solid as a rock, right? The reason I say this is because they're able to communicate with you in the way that you communicate, but they're able to hold their own and remain who they are. Whoever this person is, they offer you a challenge, but in the right way. I actually really like this for you. I think this could be a steadying or a grounding influence in some way, but one that's not stifling. And then finally, for your money and materials, you've got the Page of Swords. So there could be some challenging conversations to be had about money, finances and resources this week, specifically for those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments. Don't let this be the thing that comes between you, all right? I know it happens a lot, but try not to let it. The Page of Swords also suggests, excuse me, because you've got it underneath the Emperor as well. This could be a meeting of sorts that is to do with a home, a mortgage, something to do with your dwelling, maybe work that needs to be had on the home. Maybe for some of you, this is a consultation that's taking place with a medical professional. You know, as I've said before, and I will always say, there's one home that we have in the world or in this life that will trump all other homes that we ever live in. And it's this, right? This is the true home that we will always have. Now, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, again, some news or information is coming to you this week, especially because it's underneath the Emperor, which can represent doctors, you know, healing professionals, but usually people that are, you know, very, very top tier. The fact that it is the Page of Swords as well, kind of, I don't know, I just get this, you know, this kind of energy from it. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, the Page of Swords, again, this could be disputes either in the home or around the home. So, you know, maybe this is stuff that happens in the locality, but not necessarily too. All right. All in all, doesn't look like a bad week though, just a very interesting one. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up for you. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care and I'll see you soon.